Hey everyone, Coach Dan here, and today we're training for Positive Behavior Interventions and Support, or PBIS, as team members call it. PBIS is a framework for designing and implementing proactive and preventative interventions for all students. It provides a win-win for achieving important social and learning outcomes in schools while preventing problem behavior. The in-field attributes of PBIS include preventative activities, database decision-making, and a problem-solving orientation. With PBIS, we are not running plays that are from a packaged curriculum, a canned program, a scripted intervention, a manualized strategy, or a program without consequences for misbehavior. So why is PBIS part of the CPS game plan? Because PBIS moves us all forward to do what we want to do, teach, and help our students learn. PBIS reduces problem behavior, increases academic performance, improves the perception of safety, and reduces bullying behaviors. It increases administrator time for instructional leadership, reduces staff turnover, and increases perception of teacher efficacy. Plus, PBIS improves social-emotional competence and increases positive school climate and culture. PBIS is strategic and proactive, providing the CPS team opportunities to scout, anticipate plays, and intervene when needed, helping students learn and preventing injury and loss. PBIS is a positive move for the CPS team. It's also a federal, state, and local requirement for schools. In Ohio, PBIS requirements include administrative commitment and involvement, team-based structures, 3 to 5 school-wide expectations, systematic instruction, acknowledgement of expected behaviors, correction of behavior errors, data-based decision-making, multi-tiered systems of support, and maintenance of culturally responsive practices. At CPS, each school has a PBIS team, and that's you, and you, and you. The PBIS team represents all the stakeholders in the building, guiding the implementation and the evaluation of each school's game plan. Your team will scrimmage often and meet monthly. It's important you know who is on your PBIS team, and if you don't know, ask. Coaches compile info on the pros and cons of each strategy. Many studies have found that exclusion, suspension, and punishment are not effective strategies. They simply do not work. And that's reflected in House Bill 318, Ohio law which states that students can no longer be placed on emergency removal. Kindergarten through third grade students may be removed from school for the remainder of the day, but must return the following day. 4th through 12th grade students may be removed from school for the remainder of the day and one additional day, but must return after that. Additional studies confirm that the most effective strategies for preventing problem behavior in school are clear and positive behavioral expectations and teaching and acknowledging expectations with a staff that's trained in active supervision skills. Back to our PBIS playbook. That puts us all on the path to success. Let's run through and practice the 6 critical components of PBIS. 1. Select and define expectations and routines. 2. Teach behavior and routines directly in all settings. 3. Actively monitor behavior movement, interaction, and scanning. 4. Acknowledge appropriate behavior. 5. Review data to make decisions. And 6. Have a systematic plan to correct behavioral errors. The first component is select and define expectations and routines. Although teaching isn't a contact sport, some days can be rough. And studies show that the most effective strategies for preventing problem behavior in schools begins with clear and positive behavioral expectations and routines that provide structure. Knowing up front what's expected and routine puts everyone on a level playing field. What do we want to see from our students? This poster shares expectations. Let them know clearly and consistently and reinforce expectations. Component 2. Teach the behavior and routines in all settings. Having a clear game plan is the key to success. So our strategy is to break the field into zones. Each zone has its own defined expectations and rules, so every player knows how to be safe, respectful, and responsible throughout the school day. Our largest zone is the school zone, encompassing the entire campus. Here, the most general rules apply. Being safe means no one gets physically or emotionally hurt while in the school zone. Being respectful means to be polite, follow the rules, and cooperate with others. To me, that's sportsmanlike conduct. Being responsible means being dependable and trustworthy at all times. Everyone is responsible for their role on the team and for making good choices. Next is the classroom zone. Inside the classroom zone, all the previous expectations still apply, of course, but in here, the team has unique expectations and methods for being safe, respectful, and responsible. Keeping hands, feet, and objects to yourself is a good place to start with safety. Being respectful in the classroom zone is easy when the team members all understand the the guidelines. Shh. Talking quietly.
And with permission.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Dan?
Using kind words and actions.
And waiting your turn.
Responsibility is paramount in this zone. Here, players follow all the school and classroom expectations, keep up with their duties, pay attention, and listen to others, classmates and teachers alike.
Okay, let's go over our character traits.
In the classroom zone, it's game time. Don't assume students know how to behave in school. Many of them come from very different backgrounds and cultures that might be different than your school culture. Observe who might be struggling or might act out. Be proactive. Take some time out, coach, reteach, model appropriate behavior, and provide positive reinforcement for making good choices. Also, be aware that expectations can and do change between grade levels. A little one-on-one or team coaching could be very helpful to someone in a new classroom or school. Component 3 of PBIS is active supervision. Let's look at the elements of implementing and maintaining active supervision. There are 3 keys to active supervision strategies: movement, scanning, and interaction. Move and keep moving around the environment. Scan, look and listen for unusual sights and sounds. Interact with students through eye contact or talking with them. Active supervision is something you can't do if you're in a huddle and can't see what's happening on the field. You must be in your zone to move, scan, and interact within your supervision zone. We're covering a lot of field here, team. There are players everywhere. Some of them are moving zone to zone, zigging, zagging, some of them zagging quite a bit. In both cases, the active supervisor was moving and scanning when they saw the behavior. This allows the active supervisor to remind the students what good behavior is all about and review the rules or code of conduct. Moving through the zone allows for a closer look around as you scan for unusual sights and sounds and sets you up to interact with students. Throw out some witty banter, ask about the science fair, or talk about last night's game. Active supervision offers more opportunities to connect with students and build relationships. It provides a chance to look for something that isn't quite right, as well as an opportunity to intervene if needed. Playing in tandem, those elements help improve behavior overall. Another benefit of moving, interacting, and scanning during active supervision is the opportunity to acknowledge when our students are making great plays. Now, how was that for a pass play? Component 4 is acknowledge appropriate behavior, and you just saw that in action. To be effective, acknowledge appropriate behavior frequently. Keep it positive out there. A 5-to-1 ratio of positive to negative contacts are necessary to create a positive environment. Keep it simple. Make acknowledgement easy and simple for students and staff. Focus less on tangible items and more on recognition and special privileges. Being a leader in any zone isn't just about enforcing the rules. It's also about encouraging player achievements. Great job! Players need 5 times more positive than negative contacts to reach their potential. Acknowledge good behavior and positive interaction when you see it. Believe me, recognition comes in many forms, and all of them work to build positive behavior. Let's hit the books for some techniques to create that sort of positive environment. Our PBIS playbook is looking good. We have expectations and appropriate behaviors selected and defined. We've gained yardage by teaching behavior and routines. We ran several active supervision drills and practiced acknowledgements. Now I can tell some of the veterans of the CPS team are thinking, Coach Dan, that's all well and good, but how can we tell which zone to actively supervise? We can't do one-on-one coverage throughout every game day. That's where data comes in, and that's component 5, using data to make decisions. Teams can review office referral and removal stats each month to gain insights on how everyone is performing and make some adjustments. Look for specific behaviors being referred more often, if specific grades or students are having difficulty, and determine if the majority of your players are meeting expectations. By keeping an eye on the numbers, it will be easier to tell what needs to be retaught to students, how to increase acknowledgements for doing the right things, and if the team can adjust their strategies. With all that data behind us, we can build a systematic plan to correct behavioral errors, and that's component 6. You may hear the armchair coaches talking about bribes and rewards to get students to behave, or refusing to have consequences. The truth is, this new playbook focuses on being proactive by teaching and recognizing what students do right instead of being reactionary and focusing on wrongdoing. Having a proactive, preventative plan does not mean that you ignore problem behavior. When inappropriate behavior occurs, the appropriate behaviors must be retaught. To do that, try deploying some of these strategies. Remind the students of expectations before they make a bad decision. For students who have a hard time, be sure to acknowledge when they hit the goals. If you sense someone is making a bad call, step in early to de-escalate the situation. We can help prevent students from having major issues by being proactive. De-escalation, or stepping in, is done to de-escalate a situation prior to the behavior becoming a major issue. Schools must develop clear guidelines for what is handled in class versus when a student is sent to the office. Schools should also develop a flowchart that outlines how they will respond to inappropriate behaviors.
Negative consequences alone, without reteaching, will not result in lasting behavior change. In CPS, we encourage staff to hold students accountable by employing developmentally appropriate consequences that match the severity of the infraction.
Another part of the PBIS plan concerns bullying. A bullying prevention and response plan should be part of your PBIS plan. Bullying is not two students exchanging mean words or punches. That is a peer conflict. Bullying is when a power imbalance exists between two people and actions are hurtful, deliberate, and repetitive. Bullying behavior is when someone repeatedly and on purpose says or does mean or hurtful things to another person who has a hard time defending him or herself.
Yo, guys, look at this. He got something in his neck. I can't believe this guy's crazy.
Miss Stoll,
Mm-hmm.
you know the group of kids that just left?
Mm-hmm.
They were posting bad, and they were bullying me on social media.
What do you mean?
They were posting horrible things about me. And
When?
A few last night. They kept.
And during class today?
And during class
Show
today.
me.
I don't know what to do about it.
Teachers should take reports of bullying seriously. Here's how teachers can report bullying. 1. Take students to the office. 2. Use the bully notification button on the website. Principals can also reach out to our CPS bully prevention social worker. All reports of bullying, interventions, and supports put in place need to be documented by administration. If a student is exhibiting repeated, challenging behavior, make sure to access your Intervention Assistance Team, or IAT. Each school has a community mental health partner, and for more information, please see your principal. When you pair clear and positive behavioral routines and acknowledged expectations with a staff that's trained in active supervision skills, you can positively change behavior. With PBIS in place, you should be able to determine a positive culture present in your building. In fact, you should be able to identify the behavioral expectations within 5 minutes of entering your school. How can you tell? Students can state the behavioral expectations. All faculty, staff, and student families know behavioral expectations. Students can prompt and support behavioral expectations in others. Students are being recognized for appropriate behavior. Other signs of positive culture through PBIS: the physical environment is cared for, and students are comfortable approaching adults. PBIS is a broad range of systematic and individualized strategies for achieving important social and learning outcomes that you can implement with your team, in your school, and classroom. Now you have the key attributes of PBIS: preventative activities, database decision-making, and a problem-solving orientation. PBIS is your school's way to establish and provide positive behavior interventions and support in a consistent framework for you and your students. Now get out there with your team and win.